Hey everyone, you're listening to the Simple Electronics podcast. I'm your host, Dan, from the Simple Electronics YouTube channel. And with me today, I have a very special guest who doesn't even need an introduction. Dave Jones. How are you, Dave?
Good, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, trust me, the honor is on this side of the table.
No worries. So, where are you from?
Uh,
I'm like interviewing you now.
hey, that's fine. This is all podcasts are all about freeform.
Exactly.
I live in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Yep. I thought
And
that was a Canadian accent.
oh, damn, did I let it slip? Did I say A or something?
It's something like that. I can notice the subtle difference between Canadian and Yanks. So I'm getting reasonably good at it, I think.
I have to say I don't notice my own accent, but when I see other Canadians on TV, for example, TV shows, I'm
Yeah.
like, holy crap, these guys are so Canadian.
Right. Yeah, same here. You see other like famous Australians and stuff, and yep, same thing. It's like, oh god, we don't really talk like that, do we? Oh yeah, of course we do.
And for our listeners, you're in Sydney. Actually, you're Norwest. Is that where you are? Norwest.
Yes, I mean yes, that's the business park, which is now a suburb. They just recently made it a suburb. It's been growing so much that they had to. Norwest never used to be the official suburb, but now once you reach a certain point, they granted official suburb nameness, I guess, or something. So yes, now I'm in Norwest, whereas it was actually Balcombe Hills before. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember Balcombe Hills. I've been listening to I've been watching your YouTube channel for quite a few years now. So before I started, and I started in 2016, something like that.
Yep.
So I've been here for a minute, but you've been here even longer. Just in case the listeners don't know who you are for whatever reason, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm I guess I don't like saying it, but I guess I'm a former engineer now, as in like a day job engineer. I've been doing that since the late '80s, and I'm now ever since 2009. Well, I started the YouTube channel in 2009, so I had a day job as an engineer. And my last job was the circuit board company Altium. So I used to design their hardware development systems at Altium. And then in 2009, I decided to have a go at this YouTube thing. And then almost precisely 2 years later, in April 2011, I got the can from Altium and then decided, well, I'm going to be a full-time, I'm going to do this YouTube thing as a full-time gig, and been doing it ever since. So yeah, former engineer turned engineering YouTuber, I guess.
Yeah, engineering YouTuber. I think that's accurate.
I actually have that on my bio. It's like actually, what is in my Twitter? What is I got to look at my own Twitter bio. What have I got? Hang on, I've got it here. I've got it. Hang on, because it ties in.
Professional professional
Professional
YouTuber,
engineering YouTuber, inventor of that idiotic career path. There you go. Yep.
There we go. Yeah.
That's my sort of, I've had that on there for a long time. So yes, I'm pretty sure I was the first to kind of like foolishly do this full time.
I think so. I think you're not the first engineer on YouTube, but you're definitely the first one to jump in feet first like that.
Right, and do an episodic kind of thing, like a regular weekly show kind of thing. I think I was the kind of first to, although Jerry Ellsworth, I think, she was kind of sort of doing something like that back then, I think. But I'm
full time
sure.
though?
No. It was just a part-time, thing. But I think I was the first to go, right, I'm going to do a weekly, well, not weekly, but here's episode 1, here's episode 2, and a regular a podcast kind of thing. Where it wasn't called podcast back then. What was it? A video blog. So that's where the name come from, the Electronics Engineering Video Blog. And that's where I got the name EEV blog, because I couldn't think of it like a good name for it. And so I originally called it the Electronics Engineering Video Blog, and that of course was too long. So I just shortened it. And then I actually asked my huge audience at the time, which was 50, 100 people or something, what name I should call it, and everyone goes, I like the EV blog. So we just stuck to that, and that was it ever since.
And this shows how long you've been in the game, because it's been at least 10 years now that video blog doesn't exist. It's all vlogs, right? They
It's
just
all
shortened
vlog.
it.
Yeah, I've never really liked that term. I've never really used it. So yeah, vlogging and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know why, it just irks me. So yeah,
So speaking
yeah.
of irks, what's wrong with driving on solar panels, Dave? What is wrong with it?
Where do I start? Technically nothing. You can do it if you want. It's just the world's dumbest idea. This is the way that I actually categorize this. It's taken an already borderline viable payback technology, right? Solar panels. You can argue about the how much energy it takes to manufacture them, right? The actual
Yeah, but
embodied
that's for
energy that
everything.
goes into that's for everything. That's for your car, that's for your house, that's for the clothes you wear, it's for everything, right? And it's already a borderline payback technology, and you want to put that in the least efficient location in the most rugged environment possible, and like it's just the dumbest idea in the history of ideas. It's just ridiculous.
Oh,
Like
come
it's
on, it's
already
not
a
that
marginal
dumb.
payback technology.
You don't want you're saying you don't want to go out and have to scrub the road every couple hours to get efficiency?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I just did a video showing what amount of impact just a tiny thin shadow on solar panels can have. And let alone dirt and grime of driving over the damn things. It's just so stupid. Come and talk to me about solar roadways when you've put solar panels on every single rooftop and over every single parking lot possible. Then we'll talk. Then I'll agree that okay, maybe we should look at solar roadways. But
So
until
here,
that's done, it's no. It's just
oh yeah.
it's ridiculous.
So here in Ottawa, we're fairly
Yeah.
high latitude. We're not like super high. We're actually a little bit more south than the northernmost point of the U.S. So we're not super north, but we're north. We have
Well,
a major
I
highway going.
I would consider all of Canada like a
Yeah, for
grossly
you, yeah.
north latitude, right? So
But we have a major highway going east to west. Our whole town is built
right.
like basically along a river that goes east to west. And so we have a huge highway. And I always thought it would be a fantastic idea to have solar panels on top of the highway, like
Yes.
over, like a
Yeah,
roof.
yeah, yeah, of course.
Because in
Yep.
the winter, you need to tilt those panels over at like 45 degrees anyways, because the sun stays so low.
Of course, yeah.
And we spend millions of dollars every year clearing the snow off the highway. So why can't we have a solar roadway, which actually makes sense, not put it in
Yes.
the road, but on top?
On top. And
It's
and and, and then the snow falls off, right? Because it's at
yes,
45. Would it actually
that's right.
cling to a 45-degree angle?
I don't know, but even I mean, paying someone to go shake them every day would be cheaper than having the snowplows go out every
Right,
single
yes.
day.
Right.
Like it boggles my mind because the solar roadways, like, I just wanted to get your heart rate up, basically.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, of course.
that's the whole
I'm
goal.
I'm I am not that angry anymore. Like you probably can't get me worked up with solar roadways anymore. It's just I'm so numb to it now. I've been
Oh, we'll
battling
hit
this for like
batterizer later.
8 years. Oh, great. Yeah, excellent.
No, but like, it's just so silly because we're so close, right? The rooftop solar panels, the payback period has been dropping and dropping precipitously.
Yes.
I mean, why not just invest in putting it over the freaking road? Like,
I
come
know
on.
it's not rocket science. Or car parking lots. Why they're
Yep.
obsessed with putting them in parking lots and like drawing the lane markers with the LEDs on the bloody things. I mean, the whole idea it's in the name, parking lot. You park your car on top
On
of the
top of it.
solar panel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, if you're that dead set, you can just project them down, project the light down from the solar panels that are overhead,
oh, it's insane. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. I'm,
No.
I'm trying to get the comment section all stirred up too. So
Right. Okay. Yet they keep pushing it. People keep they keep sent like every couple of months somebody will send me something new. Like it'll pop up somewhere, like in some new country somewhere that's trying it, and it's like, oh my god, it's not hard. Like literally the first search result on Google is like mine or Thunderfoot's videos like busting this or some other article just laughing at how much of a dismal failure Solar Roadways is, and it's just
absolutely.
unbelievable. Yet they keep pushing it, but
Yeah. I mean, I get how the uneducated can be excited. I
yes,
understand, like,
yeah,
people
oh,
like my parents,
totally,
for
yep,
example. It
right,
sounds awesome,
yep.
but how do these companies get enough money to fund something like this? Like, how do investors get enough money to fund these things without doing the modicum of research necessary? That's what boggles my mind.
Because that's politics, and they want to be seen to be doing something, and they're inherently lazy. If you think politicians read the bills that they're actually signing,
Oh, there's
I've
no
got a
way.
bridge to sell you, right?
There's
So
no way.
if they don't read the bills, they're not going to do a Google search on some something and actually do their own research. I like, if I was a politician, like it's easy for me to say it because I'm a nerd. I'm an engineering nerd, right? So I'm just going to at least do back of the envelope calculations for stuff. I'd be like all over this sort of stuff. I'd be doing my own research every single time something like this comes up and going, right, is it just, it doesn't take long to do a back of the envelope kind of thing, saying, oh yeah, maybe this can be made to work, but solar roadways right off the bat, just the back of the envelope. Like, you don't even have to write the numbers down to know that any competent engineer can instantly, it just pops out of your brain going, no, that's just stupid. Like it's not hard.
But I mean,
Unbelievable.
even on top of that, you've got governments who are investing. You think before investing like $1 million, you would pay an engineering firm, what is it, 10 grand to do a full
Yep.
analysis, and they would tell you. I mean, they would gladly tell you. They would gladly take your
Yeah.
money and tell you it's not
Of course they
feasible.
would. That's right. Yeah, I don't understand it all.
It it's
Yep.
crazy, isn't it?
Oh, it's nuts.
So I'm in the
I
wrong
can
business.
appreciate. Yeah, you are. I can appreciate that politicians aren't engineers, but it's like basic mindset. This is why I do my debunking videos, because it hopefully educates the layperson. Like, they can hopefully send it to their friend and go like, and at least maybe spurs at least a modicum of interest in going, this smells a bit funny. I think I'll do at least a quick Google search and see what comes up. And then if there's any like busted thing that says busted or bullshit, or something else, or this technology is questionable or something like that, at least they'll like maybe at least go in and read that article, at least have like at least question it in some way. So that's my hope anyway. That's why I keep doing the debunking videos.
Yeah.
It's not really for other engineers, because engineers are naturally curious and are going to sort of sort of at least do some ballpark thinking on it. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's Joe Public, I guess, that really
But
needs that sort of skill. It should be taught in schools.
yeah, well, you know
Yeah.
what? It's inexcusable these days for stuff like specifically solar roadways, because there has been trials, and you made videos about it.
Yep.
Bicycle paths aren't even
Yes,
viable. Like,
they're not even viable. A simple bicycle path. It's, and all of this, where any competent engineer could have totally predicted everything that happened with those solar roadways. And sure enough, when the results came in, I analyzed the results, and it almost matched pretty precisely what most of us predicted back at the start. It was like, yeah,
oh
duh.
yeah, you were almost dead on the money with your envelope calculations,
Yep.
basically,
I think I'm
which is
too
crazy.
generous. Actually, that's one of my things in my videos. I give them. I play the devil's advocate, and I give them, like all of my whiteboard calculations. I do those assuming every like perfect case of everything. So I kind of like to do that in that. Well, there's an upside to it and there's a downside. The upside of doing that is like assuming that everything's absolutely perfect. Is that if if you can show the numbers don't work when everything is perfect and you don't take any practical considerations into account, then it's done and dusted. Right, it's done and dusted. Whereas if you do a whiteboard calculation full of, oh, I think it'll actually reduce by 20% here because this reason, and another 10% because of this reason, then you're kind of like fudging it. Whereas if you assume that everything's perfect and the numbers still don't work, then it's it's good. But then you, of course, are way off on your calculations because you haven't actually taken into account all of the practical considerations that you should have taken into there. But I don't want to get bogged down into those details, so
No,
my
and
numbers,
yeah,
are
and
always going to be way too generous.
and most of your viewers, I mean, they've already checked out, right? I'm not. I don't know if you got a good handle on your audience, but I don't think you have a massive percentage of engineers that watch your stuff, or do you? You did have that survey
Yes,
not too
yeah,
long ago.
I've done the survey recently. If memory recalls me, it's about 50% professional audience.
Oh,
So,
that's
as in
high.
at least an engineering graduate kind of level. Another 30% students, and I don't know, 20% hobbyists or something like that. So,
That's
yeah,
actually much
it's
higher than I
actually,
would expect.
yeah, yep, same here. It's actually a majority of industry professionals. They may not be in electronics engineers, they may be a mechanical engineer or something like that, but they're at least in sort of the profession anyway.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Hmm.
That just shows you're the real deal because I can't check your math. I mean, I've done remedial math basically.
Well, my math is math. We actually call it maths here with an
Yeah,
S, but
you
I
guys
can't say
and the old dark.
yeah, I cannot say it though. Maths just doesn't run off my tongue. Like my tongue just gets tied up, so I have to say the Yankee math version, and it bugs me every time that I have to say it because I know it should be maths, and I can't do it. I've never been able to do it. So
Yeah,
I
THS is a
concede.
difficult one.
Yep, I totally concede. Geez, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Yeah, my math skills are not good. Like that is not my forte. So I deliberately stick to very simple maths because I can't do anything more complicated. Really, I just suck at it. It's never been my thing. So I like to try and keep it as simple as possible. That's why I do when I do my whiteboard tutorial. Circuit tutorial videos and stuff like that, I deliberately leave out any complex maths at all. So I don't think I've ever done anything like seriously mathy,
Yeah, my
if
wife
if
would
that's
be
a word.
my yeah, mathy. My wife would be my fact checker because she's a civil engineer by trade. She doesn't work in the civil engineering firm
Right.
in field right now, but
Yep.
she's one of you guys. That's for sure.
All right, yeah, but I would imagine that a civil engineer would be doing more hardcore maths than a electronics engineer, like, because I've always said that you can be one of the world's best electronics design engineers and never touch anything more than Ohm's law, like, basically, like all the stuff you learn in university, all the complicated integrals and differentials and all the complex calculus stuff, you almost never have to touch it. It's just one of those things, but it depends on your field. Like there are some people who use it every day, but it's from a circuit design point of view, you generally never have to touch any of it. It's really simple stuff, and you can do incredible amounts with it. So,
Well, that's reassuring.
yeah.
I actually had a question for you. You don't seem to make a lot of videos about programming. Are you an adept programmer or do you shy away from that kind of stuff?
I used to consider myself a reasonably competent programmer. In fact, I went through a phase, probably in my late teens, where programming was my thing. Like, I didn't do electronics any well, and it's not like I didn't do it, but I didn't do much. I was into programming, so I was doing C, Pascal, assembly. So I thought I was really quite a competent programmer. But all this modern stuff, all this like web stuff, like I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm completely lost. But I can do software for an embedded microcontroller, or I can do some sort of Visual Basic for Windows, for example. I've done Visual C, I've done Visual Basic, I've done Visual Pascal. and stuff like that. But yeah, all this modern stuff, I just wouldn't know where to start. Like if I have to script something and pull something from a website, I've got no idea. So
It,
yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah, because you talk a lot about microcontrollers and you feature like boards that people send in, but I've never seen you actually, sit down and write something for one of your videos. I know that's not really a video topic,
Mm-hmm.
programming, but
Yep.
yeah, I was just wondering how come we haven't seen that side of Dave?
Oh, I've done it occasionally. Yeah, I've done it for my 1024th video, because it was 1024, of course. So I had to do something important. So I actually pulled out some old assembly code listing that I did. That coincidentally fitted in a microcontroller that had 1K of RAM on it, right? Oh, ROM. So I actually went through the source code for the that I did for this um, uh, assembly language stuff. But I've done it for the occasional project here and there. Maybe you'd have to watch every video to, have seen me do it very occasionally.
Yeah,
So it's
nearly
just not
18.
something.
Yeah, nearly 1,800 videos on your main
Videos,
channel, by the
there's,
way.
yeah, out of that, there's probably like 5 that have some sort of programming in it. There's not many. So yeah.
Yeah, you're over 2,400 if you add EV Blog 1 and 2. If you add Discover and
And
your other
other, yeah,
miscellaneous,
exactly. Yeah, it's well over
you've got
2,000 videos. Yeah.
you got a lot of videos under your belt. Like you're
Yep.
the
Yep.
electronics goat pretty much at this point.
I keep churning them out. Not as many as I used to. I'm not as, I take a bit more care in my videos these days. So it takes a bit longer to make them, but I'm inherently fairly lazy. So, I could make more videos, but I don't know. I just, meh.
So what's
Sometimes I
your
just sit there watching videos instead of making them.
Oh, that's not good. I do the same
Yeah.
thing, but then
Oh, yeah.
again,
It's a big time
yeah.
sink. Yep.
So what's a normal day look like for you? Because you have an office that you need to, I guess,
Yeah. Yep.
it has to earn its keep, I guess, um, and you obviously do merch and you have stuff
Yep.
like that. So what's a day look like for you?
A day look like? Well, speaking about that, the office has to earn its keep. It's already paid for itself, so it's pretty much a free run from here on end. It's paid off, so I own it. I actually own this little 50 square meter windowless masterpiece that I have here. Yes, I'll always mention that I don't have a window. Kind of bugs me. Anyway, so it's all paid for itself. But a typical day for me would I come in after I drop the kids off at school, for example. I'll come in here. I do a podcast like this, which happens every second week for the amp hour, and then occasional stuff like this. Or I'd probably start by watching the occasional video, catch up on Twitter. Like I'll just waste time. Like I generally won't come in, feet to the ground going, I've got to make a video today. I'll kind of just, the first couple of hours, I'll kind of just waste away, piss away, unfortunately. And then I might go, oh yeah, I should probably do a video. So I kind of think up an idea and maybe start on that. And hopefully a video pops out by the end of the day. But otherwise, I'm doing packing and shipping stuff. I'm doing business, emails, advertisers, and things like that. Fan email and things like that. I get tons of emails, so I'm constantly replying to those. I'll be watching my YouTube comments. I'll probably look at an hour's worth of YouTube comments a day, just like reading and answering and stuff like that.
Oh my
So
God,
yeah,
that's a lot of
yeah.
comments.
That's a lot of comments. Yeah, I know you shouldn't read the comments, and this just came up yesterday. Another big YouTuber just quit because they couldn't handle the comments anymore.
William Osman.
Yes, William Osman. Yeah,
I was
yeah,
going to
just
ask you about that because
right.
yeah, I wasn't sure if you still read your comments because someone of your size, mind you, knowing that you have a more technical audience, your comments might skew towards more constructive. But
Yes.
do you how do you do it? How do you deal with the naysayers and the people who are, just evil?
I have learnt to ignore them. Maybe it's my nature to just either I ignore them If they're really bad, I will block them, but it actually requires a lot. You have to really piss me off to get a block from me. You have to be like really continuous video after video just hounding me before I'll actually block you. If you just say something that, oh, you're wrong, Dave, you're an idiot, I'm not going to block you. You know, it's just like, meh. Um, I just don't care. And sometimes I have fun with them. Like I love actually replying to a troll. It's, you know, it's sometimes it's, I don't know whether it's just me or whether or not I'm just older than a lot of other YouTubers and maybe you get better at it as you get older. I don't know. But it's always been the case for me. I just, you know, I don't really care about the people who, you know, like I get all sorts of threats, you know, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to, you know, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I just don't care really.
I mean, these people wouldn't even be allowed across the border to Australia anyways.
No, well, yeah, I do feel a bit safer being here. I guess if I was in the US and I got a death threat and somebody posted my address and they're saying, I'm coming to get you, you know, I'd probably be a bit more concerned. You know, so I have a family, of course. But yeah, no, I just generally don't really care. Like I can pretty much know if someone is going to be a real problem, and then I simply won't engage with them. But if I know like it's just going to be some fun banter and you know, like I can pretty much gauge people from the way they say things and things like that, and that's been a valuable skill to learn. But in most cases, just block. I mean, it can be immensely satisfying to block someone. I mean, I don't know why more YouTubers. I can understand that people, you know, it's just the whereas he said on that video that it was just like, even though 99.9% of comments are great, right? It's that 0.1% that will get to you. And
Yeah.
I can understand that. But on the other hand, it's like, well, why don't you block the 0.1%? But yeah, because it's
It's not.
fairly satisfying. But I can
Yeah.
understand that not everyone can handle it the same way. So, you know, yeah.
And it's also like the damage is done by the time you see
Oh
the
yes,
comment to
yeah,
block
yeah.
them.
Oh, it's done. Yep.
These people aren't just they're not your fans that are going to come back video after video. I mean, some of
Yep.
them are, but for the most part, the damage is done. And I think
The
that
damage is done. Yeah.
yeah, I think the
Yep.
problem too is that you know, we have insecurities, like especially as a YouTuber, you kind of put everything out there.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
mean,
Mm,
you know, you don't hide behind much, and then, you know,
mm.
sometimes, I mean, they're just like William said, they're shooting in the dark for whatever just upset them that day, and then
Yep.
sometimes it just happens to hit that spot where you're
It
like,
hits the mark. Yep. Yep. And I think what he and some others said on there was that the ones that hurt the most are the ones that are kind of sort of partly true, you
oh
know,
yeah,
like and you just realize, oh yeah, they're right, you know, ugh, bastard, you know, he's kind of got a point, you know, uh, and it does it, like even if you hit that block, you are right in that the damage is already done. It's already stuck in your mind. And you know, I can think of comments that I got, you know, way back from the early days that I'll still vividly remember. Right, and
wow.
it actually sticks in your brain. And yeah, so but you've got to be a certain type of person to actually be able to handle that. And for some reason, I don't know why, I can just handle it. So yeah, yep.
How do you deal with those commenters that have no idea what they're talking about, but they say it so
Oh,
confidently?
oh, I can't. And I think somebody also said it on this video as well. I think it was one of the other YouTubers who mentioned it, was that when you get the same comment over and over again on the video, this just happened to me last week. I had to put a frequently asked questions. I did a video on finances. It was like a finance type video, and everyone was saying like the same thing. So if that's the case, I'll try and stop actually replying to every person who says the same thing. I'll actually do a frequently asked questions and then pin that as the comment at the top, and then try and ignore the rest of them. I'll just go, no, here's the frequently asked questions. Here's the top 5 most commented things. Here's my reply to those top 5 comments, and boom, so that I don't have to continually do the same
Yeah.
thing.
Same
And
thing over and over.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. And the thing that I'll get a lot of email as well. It's not just YouTube comments. And here's one of my thresholds for actually pulling down a video and redoing it and re-uploading. My threshold is, if I know I'm still going to get emails in 5 years' time about that video, then I will pull it and I'll fix it. If there's some error in it that's bad enough, like normally if there's an error in it, I just don't care. I just assume there's going to be an error in every one of my videos, and I can fix it in a pinned comment or something like that, right? But if I know I'm just going to get the constant emails year in, year out, then yeah, I'll actually pull the video and fix it somehow, if it's that bad. But
I've
that's
got
rare. That's incredibly rare. I just assume that every video I've got is got something wrong in it, and it's okay. I have no fear. You've got to have also have no fear of saying I was wrong.
yeah. Oh yeah. If you got it wrong, you just say it.
It's fine. And if somebody, and the first person to point out something I got wrong usually gets a heart from me. Gets the little YouTube heart thing, and also gets the pinned comment at the top. If you
There
can
we go.
point out an error in my video, it's like, I've got no problems. Like, yeah, you've also got to, you can't be too proud that you can't admit that you made a mistake. It's like, well, so what? Okay, I was wrong. Yeah, meh. Next.
Yeah, I have one video where I'm trying these boost modules from China, and
Yep.
they put the wrong chip on these modules. That's what's wrong with them. They
Really?
just they use whatever chip was in the bin. Like
Right.
I have 10 modules, and I think 8 of them
Oh,
have different numbers on them.
really? Wow.
Yeah. So I was testing it, and the chip shorted because it's on the same pinout, and it pulled all the way up to my current limit of 3 amps, and
Oh,
then it caught
no.
fire.
And it smoked.
And
Yeah, I was going to say.
yeah, and then the comments, something like half of the ones that are I guess critical, they're saying, well, you're an idiot. It maxes at whatever 2 amps, but you pushed 3 amps through it. Of course, it
Oh,
caught on fire, and it's like, you're a
you don't.
moron. I had my multimeter on it. That's a 10 meg ohm load. Like, I'm not pulling three amps. It pulled 3 amps. Like, that's not how current works, buddy.
Well, it's not how power supplies work. That they aren't a constant current, although you can put them in constant current mode, essentially. But they don't, just because you set your current limit to 3 amps doesn't mean it's going to push 3 amps through.
That's right.
It's like, it'll take whatever the load will take, what the load takes. In this particular case, it was the dodgy shorted out chip that went bang, and it's a short. It's basically a low impedance, so it's pulling all that current, and it's going to heat up.
That's
Magic
right. And
smoke's
that's
going to
why
escape. Yeah.
I I was challenging some of them. I was like, go put 3 amps through a 10 meg ohm resistor. I'll
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Like, you'll be
Good
there all
luck.
day. But that's
Yep.
the thing, right? Like, sometimes you're just like, I don't have the energy to
Right.
explain to you the amount of stuff you're missing in order for
Yep.
you to understand why your comment is wrong.
Right.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. I usually don't have the energy to do that on an old video. Usually, most of my comments, almost all my comments, as soon as I release a video, I'll sit there for an hour answering comments. So if you want me to read your comment, the best time is like an hour after I upload a video, because then I'm keen. I want to see if I've made some hideous mistake, right? I would love, someone will always tell me I've made such a monumental mistake that I may have to pull the video down. Then you'll usually find out that in the first 10 to 30 minutes. I'll sit there for the first hour or two, just answering comments and actually replying. But if it's some old video, it's like, oh no, I don't have the enthusiasm to, like that video was 5 years ago. Some solar roadways video again. Somebody, like, no, I don't have the energy. So yep.
I mean, being a bit facetious, but you've probably made a lot of money off Solar Roadways videos too. I mean, I guess Solar Roadways is
Yeah.
working out for you.
It's pretty good. I like to think that I've made more money on the ad revenue for solar roadways than all of the energy produced by every solar roadways on the planet. Yeah,
That's probably true. I thought you were
yeah.
going to say the amount of money they raised, and it would be like, no, that's not
No,
close to
no,
true.
no,
But
no. That's not close to true. Yeah, they got a new funding round. Oh, bloody. Oh, I just like at some point I've got to stop doing videos on it, but I know I can't. I know, like, if something comes up again, I'll just know I have to do another video. Thunderfoot just did another Solar Roadways video. Which he didn't title Solar Roadways, but it was actually Solar Roadways. So yeah,
oh,
and he's still doing them, and I'll probably have to keep doing them too if something really spectacular happens again. So
Thunderfoot is hilarious. He's been on a anti Elon rant for
oh
so
yes,
long now. It's
anti
awesome.
Elon rant. It's yeah, and it ticks off a lot of people, and I've got a lot of haters. I've got a lot of people who will hate that I actually support him. Like I actually, because he's one of the few debunking channels out there, and I like his content. Yeah, I don't agree with everything he says. Shock horror. Some people I don't understand the current the current binary mindset. It's either you if you watch somebody, then therefore you support everything that they say. It's like and every opinion. It's like
It's
ridiculous.
so tribal up. It's
Oh, it's
ridiculous.
tribal is the word. Yes, tribal. Yep.
It's because yes, you know what? I
Mm,
love private space adventures. I love the fact that
same here. Yeah.
SpaceX is going to the space station.
Yep.
I think I actually went into tears when I saw the first time the two boosters come back and simultaneously land.
Oh, it was magic, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I still think Elon should be paying way more taxes, and he shouldn't be anybody's god. Like
Yeah. I know. It's
I
just
can believe in both those things.
yeah. And some of his ideas are stupid, like Hyperloop. Don't get me started on Hyperloop. It's never going to happen. End
It's
of
another
story.
Solar Roadways
It's
because it
another solar
looks good
roadways.
on
Yeah.
paper.
Yep.
But
Yep.
well, on paper, on
Yeah,
the
on the
advertising wank.
yes, exactly, and it
Yeah.
ticks every marketing box, and it's just no, and that's why he smartly has not put in his own money into that, because I'm actually I'm bored because he is a master troll. He's a
He
master
is.
level troll. I wouldn't put it past him that Hyperloop is one gigantic troll. At some point he's got to realize because he is a reasonably competent engineer, right? So
He is.
I think at one point he's got to realize. Even if he didn't at first, he's got to realize no, this hyperloop is bullshit. And yeah, it's just
But
nuts.
again, you can't forget that if it's a publicly traded company, they're not responsible to the general public. They're responsible to shareholders,
That's right.
and
Yep.
it is bringing in money for them left, right, and center. So I mean, technically by U.S. law, if he does anything that hurts his shareholders' bottom line, he can be charged criminally. I mean, it's ridiculous. So of course you can't trust everything he says from face value. First of all, you
Yep.
shouldn't trust anything a business owner says at face value. Period. Like
Exactly.
it's just not the way that works.
Then you end up with what's that truck? What's that? I just tweeted that last night. What's that hydrogen fuel cell truck?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Nikola.
The what? Sorry.
Nikola. Nikola. That was a fraud. That was a $40 billion fraud.
Yeah, that
Nikola
doesn't
Motors.
surprise
Their
me.
website still exists. The website still exists. I'll send you the link so you can put it in the show
I
notes.
got it.
I assume you
Yeah,
have
I
show
got it
notes.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Nikola
this is a
trucks.
complete fraud. It's not happened.
It is literally a complete fraud. The guy behind it is a fraudster, and the truck did not exist. The truck did not exist. And there's been various expose videos and stuff like that. And General Motors, I think, funded it, and all sorts of other huge companies like funded this thing. And it was a complete fraud. The demo video that they did showing the truck actually moving down the highway was shot on a sloped highway. So they simply towed it to the top and then it just rolled down the highway. It
Oh
didn't
no.
go under its own power. Yeah, and this is the big marketing video that they used to get billions of dollars in funding. The thing just did not exist.
I
Yeah.
simply don't trust any trucks that Jean-Claude Van Damme doesn't do a split on.
Oh, it
That's
doesn't. Oh,
it's
I
that
love that.
simple.
Yeah, yeah, right. There's your marketing. There's how to do marketing. Yeah. But
How's your
anyway, yeah, you got
how's your
billions.
Ionic, by the way?
Ionic, I just released. Oh, well, no, I haven't released a video. It's uploaded, and my patrons have seen it. I just did a video, so it will be my next video, released today, probably tonight. After 12 months and 17,000 Ks of owning a fully electric car, and I love it. It's great. I would never go back.
Awesome.
Never go back to an internal combustion engine car.
Just so you know my background a little bit, I've been an automotive mechanic for the last 16 years, and
Ah,
I've been
right. Okay.
teaching automotive for last 3,
Ah,
4, something like that.
oh, great. Yeah, yeah.
And so I encounter a lot of people that they want to stop electric cars. They think that's going to be the end of the interesting or fun or anything car. And I'm telling them it's completely the opposite, because
Yeah.
electricity, well, I mean, for a commuter car, it's ideal. And for a sports car, at least at short range, it is better than ideal. I mean,
You
an
can't
electric
beat it,
motor.
can
Oh,
you? I mean, there's no internal combustion car that can beat an electric motor in theory, is there?
no
I
way.
mean,
No
the
way.
response time. I mean, because you have to burn that fuel, it's got to be converted via a chemical process into energy, and then
Terribly, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Terribly, by the way.
Oh, they're terribly.
Extremely
Yeah. What is the
inefficiently.
efficient? 30% an engine,
Roughly
and
30%. Yeah.
right. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah,
It-
and all that sort of stuff takes time. So yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I
And
mean,
an electric motor, you would know as an engineer, it gets 100% of its torque at 0 RPM.
at 0 RPM, exactly. It's just great. I love it. My car is probably one of the wimpiest EVs on the market. Yet if I put my foot down, boom, it's got that torque. It just goes, and
Yeah.
it's great. It's one of the things I love. Yeah.
Does it run out of breath on the highway? I don't know if you guys have 100-kilometer-an-hour highways like we do here.
Yes, we certainly do. No, it goes just fine. I won't say how fast I've taken it up to.
101, let's just say.
Well, no, we have freeways that go to 110 here.
Oh, so 111, because you live
111.
on the.
Oh, well, no,
you live on-
110 is the fastest I've ever taken it.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's
110
strict, huh?
kilometers an hour. Yep.
You couldn't. So as an Australian, you couldn't cross the outback with an electric car, but at the same time, I'm sure it gets you to work and back home plenty of times.
Oh, it's
without
plenty.
problem.
Yeah, it's got more than enough range. Yep. I charge it at 80%, and I get 270k range, and that's more than enough for most of the week use, unless we go somewhere on the weekends or something like that. So it's more than enough. Ironically, there are roads in the outback here that have no speed limit. So
because the roads are so crap, right? Is that why?
No, they're just in the middle of nowhere, and they're so straight that they actually did this trial where there's there's no more speed limit, and you can go as fast as you want, and the only thing out there are bloody kangaroos, and you have to be careful of those, by the way. They're actually very dangerous because they'll jump in front of your car. They're really stupid.
And they're big, right? They get
and they're big. Oh, they will total your car. Yeah.
Do they get over 100 kilos or around there?
The giant reds do. Yeah, I think the giant reds. Your average kangaroo can be like 60 or 80 kilos or something like that. I think.
Jeez, that's still massive.
It's still a pretty hefty animal, and because they jump, people think, oh yeah, your grill will catch them, but because they actually jump across the highway. Kangaroos do actually jump. That's their thing. Then they jump up to head height, so they smash through your windscreen. Right? If you're not careful, they jump over your bonnet, and boom, you can take them straight through the windscreen. So, yeah.
I feel like I have to explain. Yeah, I have to explain for our viewers though. Australia is giant. It's I know it looks tiny down there on the globe, but that's because the projection is wrong.
Yep.
Australia is huge. It's like it's bigger than the US. It's big.
It's slightly bigger than the continental US. I basically say it's almost the same as the continental US. It's almost the same width, almost the same height, kind of, sort of, So it's huge, but we only have 5 major cities here, and they're all along the coast. There's basically nothing in the middle. It's just empty.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's kind of inhospitable too.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like it's like high desert, really.
yes,
Do
and
the natives still live out there?
oh, there are people who live in towns in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But and that's why they hold the solar the world solar race here, is because we've got the outback with plenty of sun, these hugely straight roads, and they bring their solar cars out here, and they have this huge race to find who can go the furthest in their solar car or whatnot.
Is that something that ever interested you in joining one of those teams and providing the engineering know-how?
I was actually invited to come along with them on a race, but there's a lot of logistics involved. Like it goes from one side of Australia to the other, and like it was bad timing and stuff like that. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool to actually work on a team and do that. I just don't have the time to do it, unfortunately. So
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you're a busy guy. 1,800 videos just don't make themselves.
yeah, no, exactly. That's why I can't pretty much. A lot of people say, "Oh, why don't I do this project and that project?" And I'm going, "Well, I'd love to, but I've got to make videos as well." So yeah, unfortunately, that sucks up most of my time.
Um, how do you feel about the I would say cheapification or Chineseification even of electronics today? Because when you started,
Oh yeah.
microcontrollers were expensive. How do you feel
Oh,
about them being way cheaper today?
when I was a boy. On my rocking chair. Yeah, like when I started, you could not buy microcontrollers, right? These were the domain of serious professional businesses, right? You had to be a business to actually buy one of the microcontroller dev kits, right? And they were so expensive just to get a basic development kit for them. I'm talking like thousands of dollars, right? So you sort of take it for granted these days that it's all basically free. You can buy a chip, you can build your own little programmer, or the programmer costs $10 or something, and like it's all basically free. And then you've got boards, right? When you want to make your own custom PCBs and stuff. I can remember because I'm a former full time PCB design engineer. That used to be pretty much my full time job. And yeah, back then, like a if you wanted a 4-layer board, that's $1,000 for a panel. Thank you very much. And these boards that you can get for $5 delivered these days, or $10 delivered. It's absolutely incredible. Like that
Oh
was
yeah.
unheard of, even 15 years ago. That was unheard of. So yeah, it's just changed everything.
Do you
It's
think that's a positive change, or do you think that a lot of people are skipping steps now when they're entering into electronics?
Oh no, you've got to say it's. Oh, okay. Well, this is a. There's two different arguments here. You cannot say it is a bad thing. It is definitely a good thing. I would never go back to the day. Right. My argument is I would never go back. Right. I would never go back to where it cost you $1,000 to get a prototype PCB made. Right.
Makes
That's just
sense.
absolutely crazy. I would never go back to when a development kit for a microcontroller cost thousands of dollars. So it's fantastic the amount of stuff that you can work on these days for almost free, for or for very little cost. The amount of advanced technology you can do now. You can do advanced BGA on 8-layer boards, and really advanced stuff using all these free tools, and the boards cost you little. All the chips don't cost you much. They're all available in stock from your DigiKeys and your mouses and whatnot. And it's just absolutely incredible. So it's opened the gate for anyone to do really advanced stuff very cheaply, very simply. So yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. But from the point of view of whether or not it's a good thing, like the people are skipping steps because they're just using their Raspberry Pi or their Arduino now to do something. I did. once again, I'm going to err on the side of I can't say it's a bad thing because it gets people into the business, right? It gets people into the hobby, into the business, gets people excited to work on stuff like this. Who cares if they skipped a few things? They can always learn that later.
I agree.
I've
I
I've I've
completely
I've
agree.
I've always been an advocate of like don't learn theory from scratch. Like that's the worst way to learn electronics is to right here's atoms and here's how electrons flow and like it's just oh god you're going to bore the hell out of people from the first minute, right? And they'll never get into it. Whereas if you go right here's a Raspberry Pi, here's an Arduino thing, and look how it can flash LEDs and control this motor and drive this robot, right? That's really cool sort of fun stuff. And if that gets people in, they can learn the details later. So yeah, I
So
think it's a positive.
do you think that university needs to be reworked to be practical first instead of
Oh,
theoretical and practical?
there's an endless argument. Yes, I always hated the fact that they didn't do anything exciting, like not in the first. Um, it's hard because university has to be a level where you have to like learn certain stuff. Otherwise, the meaning of university's gone completely out the window, right?
This is true.
But that being said, you've got to have a lot of the practical aspect. They could certainly put more in, but some universities are way better than others in this regard. So yeah, but like a lot of the exciting practical stuff comes around in year 3 or 4 or something like that. Like they're not going to give that to you in your first class, right? Here's let's build a robot in our first class. No, it just doesn't happen. Right. So,
Yeah, and I find that
yeah.
unfortunate because some
Yep.
people find the theoretical portion of it just too
Oh, it's
much
mind
to
numbing.
handle.
Yeah.
It is, and it
Mm.
truly is, because I'm sure you didn't become an engineer because you wanted to have your nose in the books all day.
No. I became a practical engineer because I loved it. It's been my
Exactly.
hobby since I was like, 7 or 8 years old. So, yeah, it's always something that I've wanted to do. So, yeah, but it's an endless debate. Then again, there are a lot of people say, well, why don't they teach soldering? Should you teach soldering in university? Should they teach this microcontroller? Well, there's so many things out there to learn. You can't possibly cover them all, right?
That's very
So
true.
in the time available, something has to give, right? So if you want to devote time to all this practical stuff, something else has to give. And well, yeah, there's no easy answer there, I'm afraid.
How are your kids, by the way?
Except,
Oh,
oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, this is why I advocate for people. I've done many job tips and career advice videos and stuff like that. And
And I
one of
love
my main
those, by
ones
the way.
is, well, excellent, thanks, is to work on your own stuff. If you're not working on your own stuff, then you're just another graduate. You're going to be the same as 95% of other people. Like, no, don't do it. Work on your own stuff because you won't learn it at school generally. And
Yeah,
and working on your own stuff means you've got something to show off, right, when you actually go for a job, and it shows that you're actually got passion for something. And employers genuine like actually love people who are passionate about stuff. Generally, there's some like boring as batshit companies out there who don't care about that sort of stuff. In fact, I've one company I went for, they actually canned me at the last minute because of that. So, yeah, those are probably companies you don't want to work for, by the way.
no,
So,
it's like a
yeah,
blessing in disguise, right? Getting
exactly.
for sure.
So, mm,
Wow, time has flew by. So I have a question I typically ask every one of my guests,
yep,
and I want to just get a different feel for different guests. Can I shoot that to you right now?
sure, do it.
All right. So the government approaches you with a grant to start the business of your dreams. It does not have to provide a. It doesn't have to turn a profit because it's subsidized,
Yep.
but it does have to provide a service or a product. What kind of business would you start?
A service or a product?
Yeah, just
Once
typical
again,
business.
the practical engineer in me says, well, it depends on how much money I've got. Right?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah,
Unlimited.
let's say they got Bezos to pay taxes and it was
Yep.
redistributed around the world because he's been, destroying the world. So this grant goes, you get a grant to start a business, whatever you want.
Ironically, I'm with the two biggest, wealthiest people on the planet right now, Jeff Bezos and Musk. I would start a space company.
Just so you can go to space, right?
Oh, well, just so that everyone could go to space. Yeah, I would do the same thing that they're doing. I think they're doing this for genuine reasons, right? These people just, like, if I had squillions of dollars available, yeah, I'd be doing that too. I would start a space company. Well, like you can argue that, of course, the main argument for this is, oh, why not spend it here on Earth? There's so many, why not, I don't know, fresh water for, people in, X country, and stuff like that. Well, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that, but no, you've asked me to, pick sort of like the what would I work on, what would I be passionate about? Yeah, I'd probably start a space company too. Yep.
I would definitely want to go to space. I'm not sure I'd want to start a space company.
Right. Okay. Well, no, I wouldn't. Like, I'd hire someone to take all the crap. Right. So I'd hire
True.
someone to manage it. Right. I would not want to manage it.
You'd have like Phelon Husk or something.
Right. Okay. Yep. Yep. But no,
and then you
I
put
would.
solar panels on the side of your rocket so you could be green.
No, but I'd start, like, I don't know what aspect of it I would go. Like, I'd probably want to do it all. I'd want to do human space exploration probes. Like, I want to send out 10 million probes, stuff like that. That I think that'd be great. I think that'd be fantastic.
It would definitely
be totally
be fun.
down with that.
Oh yeah. And would you still make videos at that point? Would you make videos about your space agency?
Totally. I don't think I could ever give this up. Yeah, it's just something I've always done. I've always shared my stuff with people. Right back in the days when there was no internet and sharing stuff meant publish an article in the local magazine. That's how I shared stuff back when I was, a teenager.
Are you big into games, video games, or anything like that?
Not really. Once again, I kind of was, like, in my teenage and early 20s and stuff like that. But not anymore. Games really don't interest me all that much. Why do you ask?
Okay. There's a video game called Kerbal Space Program. I don't know if you've heard about
it. Yeah, I've heard about it. Once again, it comes down, I would probably like to feel like there's a couple of space things I've seen, all these simulators and stuff. And I'd love to fiddle around with them. Once again, it's a time thing. I would have to commit a fair amount of time to it to have a play around with it. But yeah, I could probably see myself having to fiddle around with that.
Oh yeah, I would definitely, if I can borrow your language, I would say you definitely should give it a squiz.
Yep.
Because it is it's basically real astrophysics and rocket science. But I think Kerbal Space Program is scaled down 10-1, so you only need about 1/10 of the escape velocity to escape.
Oh really? I thought it was all real. I thought it was all real numbers and everything. I thought that was the key part of it.
You can modify the game. There are mods, like, I guess old school would be like patches, where you can put a real solar system in.
Right.
But yeah, it's I think it's scaled either 1/6 or 1/10 by default. And trust me, it's difficult enough. Once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. But a lot of people don't realize you can't fire upwards to go to the moon. You have to fire sideways. You have to to not fall back to Earth, or Kerbin in this case in the game, you have to go sideways, laterally.
Yes. Yep. You can't just keep going straight up. That doesn't work.
Yeah, and you can't shoot for where, because there's 2 moons orbiting around the default planet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you can't shoot for the moon. You have to shoot for where the moon is going to be when you get there.
Exactly.
It's
I would
orbital definitely
mechanics. Yeah.
Yep. I would definitely suggest that you give it a try, and more so, I would suggest you give it a try on a live stream, because your first rockets are going to fail.
Yes.
They're going to blow up, but it's going to be entertaining as hell.
I could do that. Okay. I think you. Oh, geez. Okay. Thanks for the time sink idea. Yeah.
Well, if you do it live, what I'm thinking is, if you do it on a live stream, it's technically work.
Right. Oh yes, yes. It's content. Any content's good content, right?
There
I
you
get.
go.
I actually get quite a few complaints about that. That's one of my most complain. Well, I'm not going to say one of the most complained videos, but one I get a lot of complaints on is where I'll try out a program in real time like that, either a new CAD tool or something like that, or I'll try out a new video editor or something like that, and I'll do it in real time. Like I won't watch any tutorials. I won't do anything like that. I'll just go in cold and go, right, I'm going to do a live thing figuring this out. And then it's just me banging my head against the wall going, oh, this is bullshit. Why doesn't it do this? Why doesn't it do that? And there's obvious answers if I like went and watched a 1 hour tutorial video of how to do it. But that's not fun to me. The fun part is going there, banging against the walls, trying to do a real thing and seeing what works and what doesn't. So, and
I
yet
have to say,
there's a lot of people that hate that. They hate that approach. It's like, just go spend an hour watching a tutorial video, you idiot, and then you'll know how to use the program properly. Blah blah blah. It's like,
no. And you know why I love those kinds of videos? It's because
yep,
I am a user experience or user interface snob. I
right,
think so many companies, especially engineering focused companies, they put so little thought into UI and UX.
yep,
If someone like yourself who's used a CAD package for 20 years or
yeah,
whatever, if you switch to another CAD package and it's not like at least reasonably obvious where the buttons are or what
yes,
does
that's
what,
right.
they've done a mistake. It's a
Yep,
serious mistake.
totally agree. Totally agree. Yep,
I've
yep,
switched from I use Fusion 360 and I
right.
switched to FreeCAD because I really like the open source nature. But it literally something that takes me 15 minutes in Fusion took me like 4 hours in FreeCAD, and then I got to a point where I had to go into the forums, and the forums like, oh, if you started this way, you can't actually get it done that way, and I'm like, oh, come
Oh,
on.
yeah, that's dumb. Wow. So
So
it forced you down a path, did it?
that's right,
Right.
something like that. There's
Yep.
probably a workaround, but like I shouldn't
Got it.
have to work around. Like
No, no,
why?
exactly.
Yeah.
I
So,
totally
anyways,
agree. Yeah, it's so frustrating. So yeah, I actually love doing videos like that. So if I was going to do a Kerbal space program, it would be me loading it up just with no idea. I love doing because that's my off the cuff style. It's like when I do like teardowns, for example. A lot of people ask me, "Oh, you must peak. Like you must like tear it down first and then." Figure out everything and then act surprised when you open it up. It's like, no, I actually, when you see me on camera opening that thing up, that's the first time I look inside there. And my first reaction is where my eyes naturally go. It's like, oh, that component over there. What have they done that for? This layout. Why is this wire here? Look at that part over there. That's my first gut reaction when I open the thing. And I
those
think that's more
people are
fun.
not paying it. Yeah, and they're not paying attention because if you watch your videos where you do the teardowns,
Mm.
you often call one or two components wrong, and then 2 minutes later you're like, oh no,
It's,
that's
oh
what
no,
this
no,
does.
it's fine. Yeah, exactly.
And so that, I
Yeah.
mean, if you peeked ahead, that wouldn't happen.
No, that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't fake something like that because then it'd make the video longer. It'd make it more boring. Like yeah, no, it's just dumb. So my style is just to wing it.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
I like it. It's been working for you, so there you
Oh
go.
yeah, it works. It doesn't make short videos, but works. And at least a subset of the audience out there seem to enjoy it anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to keep on doing that. I
Yeah.
can't do anything else. Like I can't write scripts. I've tried, and it simply does not work. It just doesn't work. I cannot read from a script. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think you would lose the charm. Like
Yeah, the
I
spontaneity, the charm, the off the cuff, and people would be able to tell. I'm
oh yeah.
absolutely sure people would tell. Oh no, Dave's reading from a script. Oh, this sucks. You know.
Oh, especially
Yep.
because I don't think you would consciously script in your idiosyncrasies, like how you always like quote movies and stuff like that. I don't
Yep.
think you would script that in anyways, so it
Oh
would
no,
be it
exactly.
wouldn't be the same.
No. I would totally suck at. I'd not only suck at writing the scripts, I would also suck at actually reading them and actually delivering them because something would always pop into my head at that time, and I'd add that in anyway. So it's like I wouldn't be able to stick to a script if I did. Like I did a April Fool's thing for Keysight. They did a turbo encabulator thing. One of those one of those joke products. So they got me to do like a cameo spot for that. They got like a handful of us to do like a cameo spot, actually reviewing this fictional product, and a lot of people said, "Oh, Dave's script was brilliant. He, wrote," and it's like. All I did was simply turn on the camera and start talking as if the product was real. So I was actually reviewing, and all this crap was just coming out of my mouth, and that was my final recording. It was virtually a single take kind of thing. And people think I wrote a script for it. No, it just, I don't know, some sort of waffle came out of my mouth, and that's what went into the final video. So, yeah.
Yeah. Every time your title is incredible, by the way, I have to check the date.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because you got me so many times. I mean, first of all, can I say it's not fair because you're like 12 hours ahead or something.
I'm way ahead. Yep.
But every freaking time.
Yeah. and I never tell either. I never tell. I've never done an April Fool's video. Never done one. Never done one. I really did get that big Altium build in, and Fluke really did actually release that kit multimeter.
And you had the special edition 555 timer quirk.
Oh, yes, with the, and I always come up with these bloody things at the last minute. Like, I'm always, people think I plan this like 3 months ahead. God, no, it's at the last minute. I go, shit, it's going to be April 1st coming up. And it always, like, last minute, it's always the last minute scramble. And I don't know, something usually comes out. But I think there's going to be 1 year where I'm just not going to be able to come up with any idea at the last minute. It's going to suck.
I think you're just priming us for an even bigger hit. I think that's what you're doing right now.
Right. Well, if you got any good ideas, send them to me, because I'm shit at coming up with ideas. It's just like, I don't know. I just hope and pray something comes at the last minute.
I do have an idea, and I failed to do it. So maybe we'll talk off air here.
Send me an email. Yeah.
But we could go all day, it seems, but I think we have to cut it a little bit shorter for the audience, or else they're going to start tuning out. And
damn, yep,
yeah, it's unfortunate. But I thank you so much for coming on. Do you want anybody to go check out do you have Patreon even? I don't even know.
I do have a Patreon. Yes, I do. Thank you for
asking. Everyone should go sign up to Dave's Patreon. Also, you should definitely go subscribe to all Dave's YouTube channels. Tell them you come from the podcast. I mean, in case you're one of those people that don't actually know about Dave I mean, what are you doing here? Get off of this and go see the EV blog. It's great stuff. And thanks so much, Dave, for coming on.
No worries. Thanks, mate. So do you have more than one channel as well? Or are you just stick to the one?
I have the one channel. I might start an automotive channel at some point.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Branch out.
It's hard here in Canada because 8 months of the year, you can't do anything outside.
You can't move your car. I don't know why people live in places like this. I don't understand what this white snow stuff is. It's just such a foreign
Well, I was born here, so there's that. Convenience. All right. Thanks so much for listening, guys. And thanks, Dave.
Catch you next time.